With my newfound comfort and interest in learning about Norway, and with growing momentum that was kindling with my feelings towards Jeanett, and with no prior experience traveling in West Norway, where Jeanett lived, my focus on learning about and sharing things I found interesting with Norway slowly shifted towards Oda. I would begin becoming familiar with the hashtags associated with Oda on Instagram, and through viewing the pictures found with these hashtags, I started to see the world that Jeanett saw in her region. Looking at Jeanett's pictures, even though her pictures were mainly focused on her holding up fish, even by looking at her pictures, I would see things in the background that would help me learn and give me ideas on where to research and look for additional pictures. So Jeanett's kind of is piquing. She's piquing my interest in learning about Oda as she's showing interest in the tiles I'm creating of her, as she's making me feel a sense of freedom in being her friend. She's piquing my interest. So now I'm becoming more interested in learning about Oda, but I'm still guarded because I don't know if she's, before I knew I was going to meet her, it was kind of casual, kind of seeing, I have an ability to kind of see things that stand out in different communities in Norway. I've looked at so many pictures of Norway. I know when things are of interest in different communities. So as I started to, look at Oda a little bit, as Jeanett continued to show interest in me, I started to see kind of the things that kind of made Oda unique. After many months of slowly taking the time to observe the pictures of Oda that I found on Instagram, and by doing Google searches, there was one image that stood out among all others. This image was similar to many jaw-dropping pictures of Norway that one would find on Instagram. I had seen many pictures of extraordinary views and hikes of the mountains in Norway. In fact, before I had discovered Jeanett fishing, I had posted many pictures of places in Norway that I had never visited, including Trolltunga. I had posted pictures of Trolltunga because I saw it so many times on social media, because I followed all these different pages for Norway, that I would post pictures of Trolltunga. Just to show people that this is Norway, to show people that this possibility exists. This is one of the places where I could go hike and could go visit, just because I felt proud and I felt that this was my grandfather's homeland, and I felt Norwegian, and I felt like this is part of my heritage. So I posted pictures of Trolltunga and of many other places that I had never been, long before I even met Jeanett. Long before I even knew that Oda existed. Now don't get me wrong. Before I met Jeanett, even after she said that she would meet me to receive the tiles I made of her, even before that, I was not putting Oda under the microscope. Because if I had, I would have gone to Google Maps and looked to see where Trolltunga was located in relation to Oda. I would have seen that Oda is a short drive from the Trolltunga trailhead. It wasn't that important to me to figure out Oda before I met Jeanett. I had lots of other places I was still exploring. I had learned you cannot take things too seriously when learning about people and what they say about themselves on social media. Even though on Jeanett's profile it says she was from Oda, I knew well enough that she might just be using Oda as a general location she might just be using Oda as the general location of where she lives. She could have lived in a teeny town 30 minutes from Oda. So you see, I had learned, and I had noticed with other people that live in Sutton's Bay, for instance, when they don't want to be known for living in Sutton's Bay, they'll say they live in Traverse City because it's a bigger city. They seem a little bit more, in the mix when they can say they're from Traverse City, because Sutton's Bay is a half an hour drive away. So I just had a sense, and I still have a sense that people don't always tell exactly what the truth is. So, Jeanett could have very well lived in Oda, but I didn't know for sure, 100% for sure. There weren't any pictures of her standing in the middle of downtown Oda on her pages. It was all of her in the fjords fishing. There was nothing that told me that she lived in Oda, other than she said that she did. And just like my friends here that from Sutton's Bay, she could have just said she lived in Traverse City. Same kind of situation. So again, I can't dive into Oda trying to learn all about the community before I go there when I don't even know if Jeanett necessarily lives there. She could live in Utna, which is a 45-minute drive away from Oda. I didn't know for sure. So and then I didn't even know whether or not Jeanett was going to be meeting me until I arrived in Trondheim when I asked her, let's make a plan on when we can meet. When I first noticed Jeanett's fishing page on Facebook and Instagram, I was not focusing my interest on learning about where she lived. I was focused on enjoying her pictures and learning about her personality through her pictures. After I knew I was attracted to her personality, and I knew for sure. After several, I knew by one picture of her that I like, that this girl is someone who I understand. After several months passed, and I was in Norway, and it felt right to ask her if I could make a tile from one of her pictures. After I carved a tile of her, she continued to accept my interest in her. After all of that, the reality and question about where she lived started to become important to me. When the tiles were being made, a process that took many weeks, a comfort level was reached after I made not one, not two, but 3 tile designs from 3 different pictures from her Instagram page. After making those tiles, the idea materialized that maybe I should ask Jeanett if I can come give her these tiles. After making those tiles, the idea materialized that maybe I should ask Jeanett if I can come give her these tiles. The idea to ask her if I could meet her to give her the tiles did not occur to me until after I had finished making them. I'm taking trips to Norway in September. It's kind of exciting. It's the fall. I have a little bit of free time after the summer making these tiles. Who knows this is my life as an artist. But I finished them and she continued to show interest. So, wow, well, maybe I don't want to wait until September. I'm making these tiles for the gallery in Lofoten. I'm making these tiles for the gallery at the Polar Arctic Circle Visitor Center. I felt comfortable to ask her when she liked the pictures I posted of the finished tiles. And she didn't reject it when I tagged her in the pictures on Facebook. I didn't know if she was going to say yes or no when I asked her if I could deliver the tiles to her. But I had the mentality that it wasn't going to matter if she didn't answer that question or if she didn't grant me my wish. I did not ask if I could mail the tiles to her. It was such a great effort. It was fun, but it was a great effort for me to make the tiles, that if she wasn't going to meet me, I wasn't gonna waste my money to ship them to her. Or even ask her if I can ship them to her, because I knew I was giving her complete affection from the beginning, and if that complete affection was not reciprocated, I would know not to spend any more time on her. So this was a pure, true 100%, 110% effort on my behalf, knowing that I'm interested in her, knowing that, okay, just to make these tiles is fun, just to meet you and give you these tiles is fun. Who knows what could happen from it? Yes, I'm interested in you. I think you're attractive. I can see that, but I know that it's up to her. I'm making this effort. So I'm not just going to mail these tiles to her. I'm not going to ask her if I can mail these to her. I was all in on this. So when I made them and she continued and I finished them, and then, I'm thinking, what next? I suppose at one time I could have thought, well, I can mail these to her, but there's no way I would have mailed them to her. Who knows? I've mailed tiles to people before. I'm not this. The tiles were special, even if Jeanett had vanished, they were still special to me. I had my yearly trip to Norway. This was something I was doing extra, and it was 100%. I was giving this was the complete affection I was giving her, and I was hoping and that it could lead to more, but wasn't expecting it. We didn't